Hi guys, welcome! In this video, we'll take a look at all the upcoming class balance adjustments for less popular jobs and builds. These changes will be possibly coming in the June or July update, so you should prepare ahead of time. Hopefully more players will utilize these unconventional class builds in the game. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. First, we have several optimizations to the skills of Assassin class. First, the casting condition of Full Black Claw has been removed and the debuff will automatically take effect when the target's HP is below 60%. This means you no longer need to wait for the target's HP to drop and stop auto-attacking before you can cast Full Black Claw. Second, the SP cost of Enchant Deadly Poison, Dark Contract, Soul Breath, and Soul Sacrifice has been reduced. This will improve the performance of Blade Souls in prolonged fights that require multiple skills to be used consecutively, preventing them from depleting their SP pool quickly. Third, the duration of Assassination Halo has been increased from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Fourth, Sacrifice Soul no longer consumes souls, so it will take a shorter time to complete your buff rotation. Fifth, the channeling time of Dark Contract has been reduced from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. And sixth, the effect of Enchant Poison and Poisonous Weapon can no longer be dispelled. It's a pretty huge deal as it eliminates the concern of your poison being removed when diving into the enemy stack, allowing for more confident dives. Given that Blade Souls already inflict significant damage, I think these optimizations are designed to greatly enhance the gameplay experience of Blade Souls in both PvP and GVG. Next are the buffs on the Bard and Dancer class. First, the Rapid Storm rune of Bard and Storm and Rain rune of Dancer have a new third line effect wherein Raging Storm has a 30% chance of being casted twice. The generation probability for this line is 100% and all existing runes will directly activate this line. Thus, Bards and Dancers will have a 30% chance to double their damage output. Second, the Pious Concerto passive will now be applied to both ensemble and solo songs, so it will be easier to get the damage reduction buff. Third, the Getting Better passive has an additional effect wherein it grants 5% healing bonus every 3 seconds when performing. At maximum of 10 stacks, it will grant up to 50% healing bonus, which indirectly boosts the healing amount of shield resonance. Fourth, the Bard skill Brachis Faith and Dancer skill Smile of Eden will have shorter cooldown from 18 seconds to 12 seconds. These two skills have a high potential to turn the tide, so performers can use these skills more frequently to their advantage. And fifth, the Bard skill Chaotic Poem and Dancer skill Blurred Whisper will also have a shorter cooldown from 24 seconds to 10 seconds. Since the new cooldown matches the 10-second duration of these annoying debuffs, performers will be able to continuously debuff the enemy DPS, effectively hindering their offensive capabilities. Hopefully with these changes, we'll see more DPS and support build performers in PvE and PvP. Next are the buffs on the Crusader class. First, the casting range of Overbrand has increased from 1.5 meters to 3 meters, while at the same time, Light Cross's effective range has been increased by 0.5 meters. The Overbrand Light Cross build has already received numerous damage buffs in previous patch updates, and there's also the new Tier 5 effect of Ocean Dread. So I think this additional casting range may just be what it needs to become useful again. Second, Bliss, Faith, and Divine Protection passive skills will now give higher stats. At max level, Bliss will grant 20% healing received and 20 points of Fit. Fate will now give additional 10% max HP, and Divine Protection will now reduce the damage taken from Undead and Demon Race, as well as Poison, Dark, and Undead Element by 30%. And third, the party buffs from Providence and King's Guardian can no longer be dispelled. These defensive buffs will allow Divine Adventurers to take more damage for their team. Next are the buffs on the Doram class. First, Life Soul has an additional effect wherein using animal skills will have up to 20% chance of increasing your max HP by 10% for 20 seconds, which can stack up to 3 times. Max HP boosts the damage of animal skills by a lot, so this change will definitely improve the DPS of the physical damage build of Doram. Second, Shark Fellow has an additional effect wherein it can grant the dried Lifesaver Fish anti-fatal buff on the first teammate, including yourself, who enters the AoE. Third, enemies on the path of Tornado Storm will have their attack speed reduced by up to 30%. fourth is the addition of the Beast Storm card in King Pouring, which can be crafted using the following materials. This footgear card grants Savage Soul a 50% chance to leave Tornado Storm on its path. Its star version has an additional effect which boosts the damage of Savage Soul when it is cast on Tornado Storm. The crafting materials for the Beast Storm star card are as follows. And fifth, a new star rune has been added related to Cat Flying Saucer Bombardment. Its first line effect increases Cat Flying Saucer's neutral element counter coefficient by 0.1 to 0.25, which is most important against players wearing Ghost Element armor. The second line effect will add 1 to 10 seconds duration to the current 20-second duration of Cat Flying Saucer. As for the third line effect, it will change Cat Flying Saucer Bombardment from ground AoE skill to a moving skill that automatically attacks nearby enemies. The generation probability for this line is 20%. So we have buffs to the physical, magic, and support builds of Spirit Whisperers. If you're looking for a reliable and efficient online game top-up center, I highly encourage you guys to check out Smile.One. With years of experience in the industry and partnerships with various game developers, they offer top-ups for a wide range of games at competitive prices, including Premium and BCC for Ragnarok Mobile. Smile.One top-up is available in many countries across all servers, and you may pay via their trusted payment platform. In the Philippines, I can pay securely using my GCash via Alipay and receive the BCC instantly. Please do check out Smile.One's pricing and payment methods using my exclusive link in the description box below. Next, we have several buffs for the rifle build of Gunslinger class. First, Absolute Penetration will now be able to ignore the target's physical defense if the charging time reaches 5 seconds. In addition, the charging can now be stopped by clicking the skill again. Before, it can only be stopped by moving your character. Second, Platinum Era Defense has an additional effect wherein rifle users can block 3 additional instances of damage. So in total, rifle users can block 10 instances of damage. Third, Force Dispel can now remove all dispellable buffs from the target and prevent them from gaining buffs for 8 seconds even if there is no damage dealt or the skill did not hit. Fourth, Take Cover has an additional effect wherein the attack range of rifle will increase by 15% when you are close to the edge of the terrain. And fifth is the addition of Gunfire Chase card in King Pouring, which can be crafted using the following materials. This headwear card grants a 10-meter increase in your auto attack and skill range specifically to targets locked with Bloodbrand. Its star version has an additional effect which automatically puts bounty on the target marked by Bloodbrand. The crafting materials for the Gunfire Chase star card are as follows. Placing Bounty and Bloodbrand is a good optimization because it will reduce the amount of debuffs you need to manually cast. The major issue with the rifle build of Gunslinger is that it takes a long time to fully charge Absolute Penetration, giving mobile targets ample opportunity to walk away from the rifle's range and evade the attack. Thus, this extended skill range from Take Cover and Gunfire Chase card will provide a tactical advantage in PvP as rifle users can maintain a safer distance while setting up surprise attacks. Next, we have several buffs on the Monk class. First, Spirit's Recovery will now restore more HP and SP using this new formula. Second, the shield from Dragon Soul can now absorb 300% damage and its duration increased from 10 seconds to 20 seconds. Third, the internal cooldown of the Imperishable Dragon passive skill has been reduced from 60 seconds to 40 seconds. Fourth, the Dragon Scale passive skill will additionally increase your magic damage reduction by 25%. Fifth, the Soul Awakening rune has a new third line effect wherein during the near-death awakened status, the HP and SP regen effect from Spirit's Recovery will be automatically procced every second. The generation probability for this line is 100% and all existing runes will directly activate this line. And sixth, the Nirvana rune will also have a new third line effect wherein Asura Strike will now additionally ignore 30% of the target's skill damage reduction. The generation probability for this line is 100% and all existing runes will directly activate this line. These adjustments are geared towards improving Dragonfist survivability in battle and increasing their damage output against tanks and supports. Next, we have several buffs on the Rogue class. First, the Shadow Chase passive skill will now grant more physical damage and physical attack. From 10%, it will now grant 30% physical damage and physical attack while hiding, which will help improve Phantom Dancer's damage output in PvP. Second, Backstab's attack multiplier is increased from 1100% to 1500%. In addition, you no longer need to cast Ambush to increase its damage, as this effect was changed to increase damage by 100% after using hiding. Third, Death Stealth's Backstab multiplier is increased from 120% to 150%, and its cooldown has been shortened from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. Fourth, the attack multiplier for Double Strafe has been increased from 190% to 270%. Triangle Shot's attack multiplier has also been increased from 240% to 440%. Thus, these buffs will also increase the damage output of Combo Arrow. Fifth, Combo Arrow has been removed from the synergy passive of Night Shadows. Now, Night Shadows auto attack will deal Combo Arrow times 80% force neutral physical damage. In addition, the Night Shadow's attack distance is increased from 5 meters to 7.5 meters. 6. When Strip Accessory and Strip Shield are used on monsters, the debuff effect cannot be dispelled. Late last year, there was a buff on Rogue class wherein the debuff effect of Strip skills can be applied on MVP monsters. Strip Accessory can reduce a monster's physical and magic attack by 1% for every 5 points of luck, while Strip Shield can reduce a monster's physical and magic defense by 1% for every 5 points of dex. So now these debuffs are going to be useful in the legend difficulty of Ponape Museum Island and Lost Isle instances. And lastly, Plagiarism can now be used on the new Alberta monsters. You can plagiarize level 3 Meow Grass from Fruit Tree Turtle, level 4 Chain Lightning from Wind Spirit Turtle, level 6 Storm Gust from Water Spirit Turtle, level 3 Heaven's Drive from Rock Spirit Turtle, level 1 White Imprison from Chanting Turtle, level 4 Enchant Deadly Poison from PA Turtle, level 1 Ring of Fire from Heater, level 1 Lex Divina from Dead Turtle, and level 1 Ruach from Holy Spirit Turtle. Overall, we have pretty huge buffs for both Dagger and Bow build of Phantom Dancer. Next, we have several buffs on the magic build of Supernova's class. First, the lower and upper values of Blizzard Thunderstorm Star Rune's second line effect have been adjusted from 1% and 20% to 10% and 40%. In addition, the third line effect's innate chance to proc Thunderbolt is increased from 20% to 30%. Second, the upper value of Soul Gathering Rune's first line effect is increased from 3 seconds to 5 seconds, so with max value improved concentration will be up for 10 seconds. Third, a new passive skill has been added in the Supernova skill tree called Water Shelter. At max level 5, it increases your water damage by 30%. And when using water element skills like Storm Gust, it will increase your magic attack and MP by 20% for 10 seconds. So spamming Storm Gust will ensure that you get the buffs 100% of the time. And fourth is the addition of the Bone Corrosion Ice Thunder card in King Pouring, which can be crafted using the following materials. This footgear card inflicts a debuff to enemies within the range of Storm Gust and receiving wind damage. This debuff reduces their MDef and move speed by 10% for 10 seconds, which can stack up to 5 times. Its star version provides an additional effect which lowers the target's water damage reduction by the same amount. Thus, upon reaching 5 stacks, the enemies will experience a 50% loss in their MDef, move speed, and water damage reduction. The crafting materials for the Bone Corrosion Ice Thunder Star card are as follows. I believe that with these changes, the magic build will be stronger and more effective, particularly in PvE. Next, we have several changes to the runes of Type 1 class. First, the Sun and Moon Star rune will have additional effects. During Sunplate, you'll gain additional 1% to 20% max HP, while during Moonplate, you'll gain additional 1% to 20% final damage reduction. Second, the Loss of Heaven Star rune will also have an additional effect wherein the switching time plates will automatically grant Peace of Sun and Moon. Third, the upper limit of Abhorrent Star S rune's second line effect is increased from 20% to 30%, so a higher value means less damage taken from targets marked with Hatred of the Moon. And fourth, the effect of the Warmth of Stars Guard Acer rune is adjusted from increasing physical def by 3% to increasing physical and magic reduction by 3%. These adjustments to Type 1's runes are geared towards improving their survivability in battle. Do you think these changes are enough to make Type 1 viable in PvP? And lastly, we have a buff to the Flowing Shadow Heart skill of ninjas, wherein it will benefit from both your auto attack damage and skill damage modifiers. In addition, you no longer need to wait for the 4th attack move of Flowing Blade before you can cast Flowing Shadow Heart. The Flowing Blade build of ninjas has received multiple buffs in the previous months, and I think this particular change will make the AA build stronger in both PvE and PvP. So that's it for the class balance adjustments coming in the next patch update of Ragnarok Mobile Eternal Love. What do you guys think about these buffs? Will these changes be enough to make these unconventional builds meta? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, that's it for this video guys. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed watching this guide. If you're new here, I would love for you to consider subscribing by hitting your subscribe button down below. I would love to have you back. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode.